Hi there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eric Matson, and I'm a member of the HLAA here in Rochester, and I sit on their education committee, their outreach committee, and their technical committee. If you're like me, even with fancy hearing aids, there's some places that you still try to stay away from, particularly noisy restaurants and pubs. I do surveys of sound pressure levels in some of these places, and I'm here to tell you, I have been in restaurants where the sound pressure level exceeded what OSHA requires to wear earphone covers and protection. So these restaurants can get tremendously noisy. Now there's a lot of tactics you can adopt that will help, but it gets a little bit complicated because it depends on whether or not you have hearing aids, what type of hearing aids, what features the hearing aids have, how many microphones, the room itself, how big is it, how small is it, how is it set up? Does it have carpeted floor or tin ceiling or glass walls or cloth covered walls? Is it booths? Is it tables? How big are the tables and booths? It's a little bit complicated, but I'd be happy to talk you through it for the places that you normally go to. All you have to do is come to one of our meetings, or again our Hope sessions, or the Lifespan Demonstration Center. I'm always there, and I'd be happy to explain all that and walk you through it so you're comfortable with the ideas. But now I'm an engineer, so my tendency is to look for technical tools to address any problem, and there are a few. People say to me, well, what do you use in those situations? What I use is a proprietary wireless microphone. This is made by the people who made my hearing aids, and I had to order it through my audiologist, but it's a marvel. It's got 6 different microphones that I can select. It's got a rechargeable battery. It's got a little transmitter that talks directly to my hearing aids and shuts off the mics in my hearing aids. Plus inside there's a voice clarifier and small amplifier, so I can set this in the middle of a table in a restaurant or pub, and it picks up just the voices from around the table, sends them directly to my ears, which is a tremendous help. Unfortunately, people get enthusiastic and they'll say, well, how much is it? And does it work with everything? Well, it doesn't work with everything. It only works with the same make of hearing aids as the make of this. They do that deliberately, obviously. And the cost is not insignificant. Generally speaking, all the major makers make a remote mic, but they tend to cost between $1,000 and $2,000 each. So that kind of limits their sales. People say, well, isn't there something that's a little less shocking to the system? And in fact, there is. I experiment with things. My first experiment resulted in this. It's a standard pocket talker that you can get from any hearing assistance outlet, and I'll talk more about that later. but it's got a tone control and a volume control, off-on switch, omnidirectional microphone, and you can connect your on a longish extension cord. You can connect either earbuds or an earphone, or I choose to connect a neck loop. They all work just fine. I like the neck loop because it shuts off the microphones of my hearing aids, and I'm only getting what is picked up by the microphone. It's a little bit bigger, but it works very well. People's number one drawback, they said, was that this wire can get a little awkward in some settings, because you drag it in your food or you tip over your drink, and they said, even if it costs a little bit more, it'd be nice if that was available in wireless format. Now this only costs under $150, which most people can afford. So if your budget is your number one concern, that's your answer right there. Having said that, I went back to the drawing board, and in fact it is possible to put together a wireless version of that same gizmo. This is a standard pocket talker, top of the line, but I'll explain that in a minute. And it's got an omnidirectional mic on it. It's got a rechargeable wireless battery of the type you use to recharge your phone and when you're mobile, and it's got a little Bluetooth transmitter. Now this just sits by itself in the middle of the table and does everything that the other pocket talker did. The user has a little module like this that he can stick in his pocket, or she can lay on the table. And again, it's got an inline volume control. It's got an auxiliary battery for a long life, and it's rechargeable. And you've got a choice of earbuds, earphones, or my favorite, the neck loop. And of course the neck loop again shuts off the microphones in your hearing aids, which is an added benefit in a noisy space. I've also found a little Y splitter, signal splitter here. I don't know if you can see it too well. It's shaped like a Y, but it allows you to share the output signal with another user if you wanted to. So in fact, I could put two people. I've got a spider splitter. I can share the signal with up to 5 people if they want to put up with neck loop wires or whatever. Now that does cost a little more, between $200 and $300. But you see, this pocket talker is the advanced model. It includes its own T-coil, so you get a bonus ability to listen to church services or temple services, whatever happens to be going on. Everything that you've seen that I put together is available from Amazon.com. Couldn't be easier. And I've got written samples of the components list, so you know what to ask for or look for when you're online. And you can save even more money if you take a little time and check eBay. You can find perfectly serviceable used modules like this pocket talker that cost me less than $100. So for between $200 and $300, you can be wireless. If that's a little steep, for less than $150, you can have a setup that involves a wire. Now I will caution you, when you start using these wireless devices, the number one hazard is you forget they're there and you leave the important stuff in the middle of the table. Later on you think, oh, what have I done? Well, I thought about that one too, having gone through it a couple times. And what I came up with, I found it again on Amazon, is this piece hooks onto the table module. This piece goes in your purse or hooks onto your keychain. And if the two get more than 10 feet apart, an alarm goes off on this piece, reminding you to go back and get the good stuff. So this, I think, cost me $12 or something like that. So it's a good safety precaution to have something like that. Now, if you'd like to talk more about general tactics or any of the equipment you've seen, please get a hold of me. I'm at every chapter meeting on the first Tuesday of the month when the virus precautions aren't enforced. I'm at every hope session, live hope session or an online session, and I'm at every demo center opening on the third Thursdays of every month over Lifespan. Be absolutely pleased. In the meantime, if you're trying to do something like this, give me a wake-up shout or an email at ematson3@gmail.com. I'd be more than happy to send you the shopping list, pictures, talk you through any problems that you're having, and so forth. Thanks for your time this morning, and good hearing.